Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. What's good with you? And so we are getting ready for week one. Just tomorrow, we're actually going to have the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs go at it there. So we're going to go ahead and do the first of just about every week. Well, every week we'll be doing our weekly pick'ems. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that train started here. But man, NFL season is back. You should be fired up already. And make sure that you guys go ahead and look at the link here. I went ahead and dropped the link in the comment section below so that way you guys can also make your picks and we can see how everybody's doing as the year progresses in terms of our weekly pick 'em. So just make sure even if you happen to miss Thursday, go ahead and do it whenever you get to it. That's perfectly fine. But here we go. All right, so first up, we've got the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs, and so 91% of the people of the population here who has voted for Kansas City to win this matchup, and we all have been hearing now about the Chris Jones situation there. Not having him, that's going to be huge there in terms of pass rush. Going after the Detroit Lions offensively, so Jared Goff should have a little bit more time there. That's going to help him, and not only that, I mean, being able to run the ball, up the middle and stuff. That's going to be very interesting because Detroit's got a pretty good offensive line already as it is. That being said, Travis Kelsey is the situation that we're going to watch. And at the time of this video, we do not know for sure if he's going to be playing or not. But I do know that Patrick Mahomes will be playing. I know that much. And so this one I think will be a close game. And again, if you're the Detroit Lions, all you want to do is just come out here and really just obviously you play to win the game here. And if you can find a way to win this one, in which I think give yourself an opportunity with less than 4 minutes to go in a game with a chance for your team to take the lead, that is right there a W in its own. But I think without knowing for sure that Travis Kelsey, whether he is or is not playing, I gotta say that they're the defending champs for a reason. Patrick Mahomes, he'll find a way with what he's got, and so I got Kansas City winning this one, but it's gonna be close. I think the Chiefs win this one. I'm gonna say final score of 29-26. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Kansas City Chiefs win their home opener. All right, next up, we've got the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. So these are two teams right now in the division that's really up for grabs here. They're both in that rebuild type of mode. For Carolina, Bryce Young, they have got to be able to protect him. Atlanta invested a lot of assets on that defense, and quite frankly, even though Desmond Ritter, he at least got a couple starts in there. Bryce, this will be his first game, so we'll see how that factors into things. But I feel like these two teams throughout the course of the regular season that they were a split 1-1. But I think that the first one goes to Atlanta. They're at home, got the more experienced quarterback, and they've worked a lot on that defense there. So I've got this one going to Atlanta. And I think Atlanta wins this one by the final score of 20-16 over Carolina. All right, next we've got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. And so let me say for Cleveland here, if you're gonna have a good season here, you're gonna want to come off strong right off the gate here. Deshaun Watson, all eyes are gonna be on him this entire season to see if he is the guy who they thought they were getting when they gave him that big deal. It has to happen because if it doesn't happen this year, it's safe to say that this entire team could be, I shouldn't say entire team, but a lot of people will be looking for new jobs after this season if this does not work out well. So we'll see how that plays out. For the Bengals side, we know that Joe Burrow's been dealing with a little bit of injuries and stuff like that, but hey, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, all those guys, Jamar Chase, they're going to be out there. So I got the Bengals winning this one, and I think the Bengals win final score of 31-20 over the Cleveland Browns. Next, we've got the Jaguars versus the Indianapolis Colts. And so I have seen the Jaguars over the last couple of years really give the Colts a hard time. I mean, in order for me to think of the Colts giving the Jaguars a hard time, you got to go back to when Reggie Wayne was playing for Indianapolis way back when. But, Anthony Richardson's going to be there, but who's not going to be there? Jonathan Taylor, and that is huge. And so, Anthony Richardson, do they have enough around him for him to succeed? I watched him play a couple games at Florida. He had some tremendous games, but he also had a couple games there that had you thinking, "Hey, like calm down, don't try to do too much." But Indianapolis has a lot of faith in him. But this Jaguar team, they got hot last year, especially in the playoff game in the second half. And just to get to the playoffs, they had to finish the season strong. And so another year with Doug Peterson. Give me the Jaguars in this one. Final score being, I'm going to say, Jacksonville 26, Indianapolis 13. All right, so next we've got Tampa Bay. No longer Tom Brady here out there. You've got Baker Mayfield and company, but they still have some weapons on the outside at wide receiver. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rashard White. Going to be looking to see how he does this season here. And then Minnesota. We know that the losses that they had on offense there. I mean, losing guys like Adam Thielen, losing guys like Dalvin Cook, and then defensively, are they going to be good enough defensively? They were in a lot of close games last year, a lot of close games, which on one hand means that, hey, this was a battle tested team. On the other hand, it means like, wow, you remove a couple pieces from that puzzle and it could have just went bad. So this Vikings team, I'm going to be looking to see how they do. Me personally, I feel like they're still a good team in a division in which is still winnable. But I mean, you've got teams like Detroit right there. I know a lot of people aren't too high on Green Bay, but if Jordan Love does figure it out, then hey, and then Chicago, if Justin Fields becomes the quarterback that I'm hoping that he can be and believing in him to become, hey, this could be very interesting. This could be very interesting. This division right here could be up for grabs, but we'll figure that out fairly early in the season when it comes to Minnesota Vikings. Just what we're looking at, but Adam Morrison, I'm sorry, Madison. I feel like he's a pretty solid running back, and given the opportunities that he's going to get this season, I'm expecting a big year from him. I mean, I got him on a couple fantasy teams, so I'm expecting for him to go out there and hopefully ball out and make my fantasy team good. But for this game right here, I think that the Vikings win this one. Final score of Minnesota 27, Tampa Bay 17. All right, I'll try to go a bit quicker here, but for the Tennessee Titans at the Saints here, and so the Saints are a team that I feel like is very underrated, and I know that they're not going to have their star running back for the first three games of this season, but I mean honestly, they have his future replacement back there. Plus, they have Jamal Williams, and so they'll be just fine. They brought in Derek Carr for a reason. He's going to want to go out there and prove what he can do. As for the Titans, they say if you have two quarterbacks, you got none. Well, they've got three quarterbacks. That tells you a lot about that. But they were able to acquire DeAndre Hopkins. That provides some hopes. Hopefully, Trey Burks can go out there and perform at a high level for them as well. We know what King Henry can do, but I really like the Saints defensive line here. So I'm going to give the Saints the edge in this one in what I think will be a very close, hard fought game. And I'm going to say that the Saints win this one. Final score of Saints 20, Titans 17. So I'm going to say the Saints win by 3 at home. All right, so now we have the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we saw what happened with the 49ers when they acquired Christian McCaffrey, and now they're expecting Brandon Ayuk to take that next step. Brock Purdy's going to be back there, and so this is his team. No more Trey Lance, no more Jimmy G, and so Nick Bosa, new deal. So everybody's got to be feeling really good right now, but I will say this: there's something about that Pittsburgh team that just screams to me that this year they're going to be that dark horse. There's just something about, I know obviously preseason camp, but Kenny Pickett to George Pickens, that seems like a combination that seems like it's going to be for real this year. And we know that quarterbacks take massive leaps in year two. One thing I will also say is that I have noticed for the 49ers, they're typically a team that towards the middle of the season is when they really start hitting their strides and stuff like that. And then as the season goes on, they continue to improve. And then once we hit the playoff time, they're hitting it all cylinders. But I think because of how early we are in the season, they're obviously not going to want to try to just go out there week one and just run Christian McCaffrey to death or anything like that. I think Pittsburgh wins this one 26-20. They're at home here. Upsets do happen in the NFL. I think Pittsburgh starts off the season with a win over the San Francisco 49ers. So that's an upset that I have right there. Next, you've got the Cardinals versus the Commanders, and we all just assume the Commanders are going to win this one because, I mean, we expect the Cardinals to be in the running for the first pick of the draft just to, keep it a buck right there. But I mean, these guys, they're going to go out there and try to compete, whether it's Joshua Dobbs, or the rookie that they drafted from Tulane, whoever it is. We'll see what they can do out there at quarterback. And as for the Commanders, I mean, Sam Howell, he's got the keys now. They have a lot of faith in him. Guys like Antonio Gibson. Then obviously on the outside, the receivers that they have, Johan Dotson and company, Scary Terry out there, Terry McLaurin. I mean, Hey, they've got some pieces now, and so in this kind of matchup here, I expect that Washington comes out victorious. Final score being 28 to, I'll say 28 to 17. Cardinals probably score late there, make it a little bit closer. 28-17. All right, next up, the Houston Texans on the road at the Baltimore Ravens here. And so Lamar Jackson, new offensive coordinator, new system, new weapons, new contract here. Meanwhile, for Houston here, you did draft CJ Stroud, but can the offensive line protect? How good is the weapons that he has around him? You did get Will Anderson. You're going to need Will Anderson to come right out the gate and be a beast. But all said and done, I got Baltimore coming out here taking care of business and getting a W today. I'm going to say Baltimore wins it. Final score of 35 to 16. 35 to 16. I think this one could get ugly in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. All right, so next we got a good rivalry here. We got the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. And so now that the, I guess you can say Bears owner Aaron Rodgers is no longer down there in Green Bay, what can we expect from Jordan Love moving forward here? I do notice that Green Bay does have both of their young receivers currently right now on the injured list. And so I'll continue to monitor that situation. But given where we are right now, there's a lot of love right now for the Bears, especially if Justin Fields can take that next step. Now he's got a guy like DJ Moore that's out there that, hey, regardless of how you feel about just how great he is one of the better receivers in the league, and he can go out there and perform. And if the Bears offensive line can just give them time, I feel like the Bears can do this. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, considering the injuries that Green Bay has, considering how fired up Chicago's been, how long they've been waiting, I got the Bears bearing down and winning this game by the final score of Chicago 24, Green Bay 23. I think the Bears win it late and the crowd just goes crazy. But I got the Bears winning this one late. All right, so the Raiders on the road at the Broncos here. So two teams who last year experienced disappointments, and nobody wants to go through that again. Sean Payton literally called out the coaching staff previously, saying that it was a terrible job there. So we're going to see how things look here up under his administration. Meanwhile, Josh McDaniels, year two, can he put it together here? Can he find a way to make it work with Jimmy G and company? I mean, you finally got Josh Jacobs back. That's great. They needed him. Absolutely. In a matchup like this, I'm gonna go ahead and say week one. This is a very tough one. This is a very tough one here, honestly, because my mind tells me that the Broncos win this game, but I really want to say the Raiders win this game. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Raiders find a way to win here and just spoil Sean Payton's debut here. And I'm going to say that the Raiders win this one. Final score 27 to 20. So 27 to 20, Raiders with the W. All right, so 95% picked the Eagles to beat the Patriots, and I get that. As a Patriot fan, I get that. You know, Jalen Hurts, an MVP caliber of the season last year, that should have ended in the Super Bowl had a couple things gone their way, but that's sports there, and so they just have a lot of things going for them on offense there. But the Patriots, defensively, I feel like this is what they've been working on all off season here. They've got a lot of pieces that they will move around defensively there. So I don't think that the Eagles are going to have an extremely high scoring day, as Bill Belichick loves to take away what you do the most. But on the same hand, mobile quarterbacks are what give Bill Belichick the most difficulty, and Jalen Hurts has that for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Eagles end up winning this one. Final score being Eagles, I'm going to say they win this one 31 to 20. 31 to 20. I think that the Patriots keep it close, and by close as in within range until late, and then the Eagles go ahead and finally clinch it and they win 31 to 20. But if my team proves me wrong, I will not mind taking an L on that one. All right, so the Dolphins and the Chargers. And so, another game right here that I'm thinking about it, and it's like, wow, this one right here could literally go either way. Justin Herbert versus Tua. I remember during the draft there, I was in favor of taking Justin Herbert first between the two quarterbacks there, but man, if the offensive line for the Dolphins give Tua time, protect him, this offense is already scary and can reach even new heights greater than what we saw last year. The Chargers, well, I hate to say it, but the Chargers, they like to get it, they like to disappoint us. They like to hype us up and disappoint us. But this is the regular season, not a playoff matchup. It is going to be at the Chargers here. Justin Herbert and company here. Oh man, this could literally go either way. Either way. I'm projecting that this one goes back and forth and that the Chargers win it late, 38-35. And they start off their season the right way this time. So Chargers 38, Dolphins 35. All right, next we've got the Rams versus the Seahawks here. And so just what are we getting from the Rams here? Just the fact that I know alone that Cooper Cup is dealing with some type of injury and stuff like that has me taking Seattle to win this game. I'm going to go ahead and say Seahawks win 27-13. All right, Cowboys versus the Giants here. So we're talking about a primetime matchup in which 73% of the people choose the America's team, the Cowboys here, to win that matchup against the Giants. And you guys know how I feel about the Giants. Y'all know how I feel about the Giants, my disdain of the Giants here. But looking at this matchup on paper, I think it's going to be one that comes down late. But I think the Cowboys do win this one 26-20. So I'm going to take Dallas to win this one 26-20. But the Giants are going to put up one heck of a fight in this one. And then the final matchup, the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets, the Jets in which we've heard so much about this entire offseason. And so, but only 24% are choosing the Jets here. So I find that interesting here. I mean, Buffalo has 76% here. They've obviously got the chemistry between, Allen and Diggs, in which Rodgers, he's finally did an entire offseason with his team. He seems happy for a change. He's actually being, an actual leader out there and not pouting. It all feels so good. You got Nathaniel Hackett back. But I feel like people are forgetting that last year, with the Buffalo Bills, their defense came out very strong. It was some injuries that did change things, and I know some things changed in the offseason. But I feel like right now the Bills are gonna they know what this is. The Bills do not want to come out and lose this one this early. They're still pissed off. Stephon Diggs is still pissed about what happened last year and how their season ended. He's still mad about that, but he's gonna use it to his advantage here. And Buffalo comes out victorious in this one, and what will be a very good game. The Bills win 26-23 over the Jets in the opening night for their opening night for them. So I've got the Bills also winning this. So there you have it. But that's my final projection. You guys feel free to incorporate your own scores here. Uh, oh, it's asking me how many points total. And so okay. So that'll be all right. So I'm putting my point total at 49, and that is going to be my point total scored there, but you guys be sure to make your own and submit yours. And I look forward to, seeing what you got. Also put in the comment section below who you picked as well. So that way it'll just be easier to go through the comment section and see it. But hey, with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming through. And I look forward to, opening night in which I will be streaming the Chiefs and the Lions. So if you have some time, feel free to come through and I will see you then.